Thank you, John. An enormous amount of work went into the preparation of the report, and we're all, again, extremely grateful to you and your collaborators in providing this information for us, and for it to be taken out widely in the country, and for people to then use it as well to speak out for those for whom no one else seems to speak. It's now my great pleasure to welcome to the podium Baroness Anelay of St John. Joyce was appointed Minister of State with responsibility for the Foreign and Commonwealth Office in August of this year. Prior to that, she was Chief Whip in the House of Lords and Captain of the Honourable Corps of Gentlemen at Arms. She was made a Privy Councillor in 2009. Lady Anelay is a Conservative member of the House of Lords. She was raised to the peerage in 1996 and served as an opposition spokesman for various departments until being appointed Opposition Chief Whip in 2007. I've personally always found it a great pleasure to be able to work with her, and I'm absolutely delighted that she's spared time from a very busy schedule to join us today. Joyce, the platform is yours.
Thank you. Your Graces, my Lords, members of the House of Commons, ladies and gentlemen, I am indeed delighted to have been invited here today, and I do thank Aid to the Church in Need, both for organising today's event, so well represented from people across the country, across faiths and across organisations, but particularly for compiling this very important and comprehensive report. I know we're all waiting for 5 o'clock when it goes live online to be able to see the detail. The report makes a valuable contribution to our work in the Foreign and Commonwealth Office as we promote and protect the fundamental right to freedom of religion or belief overseas. Today, I would just like to explain a little bit about the government's view on the importance we attach to religious freedom, the challenge of its decline, so vividly already painted, the decline around the world, as highlighted in the report itself, and for the four-pronged approach that we are taking now to tackle that decline. His Royal Highness in the video and Lord Alton in his introduction referred to the key issue of Article 18 and the guarantee it should give us of freedom of religion or belief. That article goes right to the heart of the values the UK government promotes around the world. This fundamental freedom also acts as a litmus test for other human rights, because we find that when the right to freedom of religion or belief is violated, then so often violations of other human rights follow in its wake. Conversely, societies which aim to guarantee freedom of religion or belief are stronger, fairer, more confident. Research by a number of academics in recent years has clearly demonstrated the link between religious freedom and a society's ability to flourish. If individuals are free to believe and to worship, then they're able to make a greater contribution to society itself. And a society which welcomes religious freedom attracts people who boost the economy. But despite the fact that 83% of countries protect freedom of religion by law, a great number of them do not, in fact, implement it in practice, as we know from the evidence that has been adduced in the report. On a daily basis, we hear accounts of religious minorities being targeted because of their faith. As the report highlights, Christianity is being driven out of the Middle East, the very region, as His Royal Highness said, the very region where it was born. In some parts of the world, there's a very real danger that Christianity may become extinct through ostracism, discrimination and abuse, forced conversion, torture, even murder. It's not just Christians who are suffering. Muslims, Jews, Yazidis and atheists face the same victimization, simply because they don't share the religious views of their persecutors or because they don't follow the majority religion in that area. And as today's report concludes, global religious freedom is in a period of serious decline. It's a serious challenge to all of us working to combat persecution and discrimination. That's why this government has made freedom of religion or belief such a priority. It's a key human rights priority at the Foreign and Commonwealth Office. We're tackling it with a four-pronged approach, and I'm in charge of that four-pronged approach. First, through our work with multilateral organisations. Within the international system, the United Nations Human Rights Council Resolution 16 on combating intolerance on the basis of religion or belief has proved an important starting point, and I was pleased to be able to attend the Council in September. The resolution calls on all UN member states to take action against intolerance and to promote the free and equal participation in society of all religious and non-religious communities. The UN has worked on these issues for many years, but the adoption of that resolution in March 2011 and its successor resolutions since then have given, I believe, a new impetus to that agenda. Secondly, we tackle the issue through bilateral engagement. And last month, I had the pleasure of chairing the second meeting of our advisory group at the Foreign and Commonwealth Office on freedom of religion or belief. It was set up by my predecessor, Lady Varsi, who chaired one session earlier summer, and I felt it was such an important initiative of hers that I ensure that it's been continued. And we discussed there how to prioritise action in those countries where religious freedom is of concern and where we think the UK can make a difference. But I make sure that every minister in the Foreign and Commonwealth Office is seized of the importance about talking about everything that's involved in Article 18 wherever they travel throughout the world. Thirdly, we're tackling the decline of religious freedom through our ongoing project work, where we're working with other organisations as well. We support projects to tackle discriminatory legislation. We work with human rights and faith-based organisations across the world to promote dialogue, build capacity, foster links and strengthen understanding. Indeed, just this morning, about 3 hours ago, I launched the bidding round for projects to take place when our next financial year opens. And I'm looking forward to receiving a large number of high-quality project proposals from NGOs to cover this very area of Article 18 work. Finally, we're increasing religious literacy, as His Royal Highness mentioned, and by having training across staff from the Foreign and Commonwealth Office, and indeed across Whitehall more generally. But the recent atrocities in Iraq and Syria, carried out by ISIL in the name of what they call religion, have reverberated across the world. There's been a vocal response from the communities of all faiths, but there is much more that we can do collectively. A cross-faith stance will be crucial in tackling that religious persecution and more broadly. After all, we've only defeated intolerance in the past when we've all come together with one voice, whatever the cause. The more we work together across the international community, the more chance we have to safeguard the fundamental right of religious freedom around the world. That's why our work in the FCO and with others, such as indeed Aid to the Church in Need, and many of you representing other organisations in the room here today, is so important both now and in the future for global security, global prosperity, and global security for children and families for all, something we all have at our very heart. The UK government looks forward to working that work, continuing that work with you in the future.